This is Talking My Walking. I am Rodrigo Ribeiro, just another voice in the wilderness. Today I want to talk about, are we in control of our own reasoning, or are we regurgitating uncritically the lines of thoughts and belief systems crafted by other people? As I keep repeating, being intellectually aware of whatever it is doesn't change us, doesn't change how we think, doesn't change how we perceive and behave um, automatically. It's not how human beings function. And human beings are not a repository of knowledge or information. We are living beings, living organisms, which means that our organs, our systems are primarily to keep this organism, this living organism, alive and functioning in the best conditions possible. So this is why it's important, because we every day we need to eat, so we need to do something in order that we are able to provide for ourselves and for those that are under our responsibility. And we need to do many things, and information, is just what our organs, or our sensorial organs capture, from the environment, and is processed at the subconscious level, whether we are aware of it or not. So we are constantly processing information at the subconscious level, first to identify patterns that can be a threat or an opportunity or whatever it is. That's one of the main functions in any existing animal, to identify patterns. That's one of the main feature of living organisms to that allow them to survive. And the human beings are not different. Therefore, information, this continuous process and processing of information is part of our lives, which means that most of the information that is processed at the subconscious level is not part of the awareness of a conscious process, which means that this information will influence, will participate, is part of how our identity, our socio-cultural identity, and our psychological and cognitive models and maps are built, and most of it happens under the radar of consciousness, of conscious processes. Therefore, we are being influenced, we are being shaped just by the fact of interacting, of being alive and part of a society, a family, a group of friends, school, wherever we interact socially. we are processing information and we are building our identity and creating habits and adopting behaviors and all the rest that goes with it without the need to move a finger. We do not process, this is nothing to do with conscious reasoning. And by exposing ourselves, of course, there is a point I want to make. Our individual temperament and the personality and all the things that are idiosyncratic about us, they play a role for sure in that process. How we process information, what attracts us more, what frustrates us more. All these things. This is important to take into account. But this belief that we kind of pick and choose as this, we have this authority or this independence or autonomy to pick and choose from kind of an existing catalog or menu or library or whatever it is not true. We don't pick from things. We are a living process in a relation with whatever it is, and this is always a process, and is always a relation with outside systems that exist. And human societies are manufactured environments, are not natural, are not normal. They don't exist unless we build them. With all its parts. A society, as we know, our societies today are complex systems. They are made of several systems. And you have these all these so many fields of knowledge, and you have arts and literature and politics and pop culture and academic culture and philosophy and art, architecture and engineering and mathematics and all the rest. And all of this is processed by these living organisms. So we are in this relation with the environment, and how the environment affects us is a personal experience. That's why there are circumstances where you are born, in which time or era you are born, the family environment, the school, the teachers, the wider family. Everything is important because we are in a permanent relationship with the environment, with people, with institutions, with the patterns. With everything that is part of our environment. And most of the time we interact and relate with this reality automatically, in autopilot, which is normal. It's how we work as living beings. Our attention, our conscious attention, it has to be focused in specific things. That's why our reasoning processes also need to be, and our critical analysis, they need to be trained in order that we know what we are doing with them. What are we scrutinizing? What are we? So this is not automatic. Most of the time we think about issues and events and people that are just kind of the they are in the environment, so therefore we don't think about them just because we choose to, but we are pushed into these reasoning processes, and most of the time we are exposed to opinions, to belief systems, to people that we trust, for example, experts, authorities, leaders, saviors, gurus, all these kind of people that we, celebrities and influencers and all the rest of it, that we sometimes, we there are many people that we respect. There are people that we respect and follow and believe they are telling the truth. But many times we don't go through a conscious, in this case conscious, reasoning process, critical analysis, research, to have more context, to allow us to know if there is an agenda, a hidden agenda, or not so hidden. Because it matters that we know, because trust is not a feeling. You don't trust just because you feel. You should not. We should not trust just because we agree, or because we feel sympathy, for that person, or whatever the reason is. We trust because there is substance. That has been validated by our own scrutiny. That's how we develop our. This is a choice. This is the true choice to train a conscious reasoning and conscious, to train our discernment abilities and our critical analysis. And we don't need to be experts in anything. What we need to is to pay attention to our surroundings, to people, how people behave. Why do we behave like this? Where does it come from? What are the roots of this kind of behavior, or this kind of reasoning, or this and that? So, and you can see that, okay, there is this diversity, so we have pluralism. No, unfortunately, pluralism is our cultural pluralism hides an economic totalitarianism. Okay, now because we have cultural and consumer pluralism. Okay, we can, if we have the money, of course, we can buy what the market has to offer. That's capitalism. Okay, the freedom to choose, the freedom to please ourselves, the freedom to use our hard-earned money, okay, to buy whatever we want without the interference of a government or whatever institution it is. But the thing is, this is this is a this is this is this is a free choice. Okay, I'm not going to deny that that we don't choose freely. I mean, of course, there are so many. What you buy, how you arrive to the conclusion that you need that. I mean, how that process. And again, always think about processes and systems and relations. How the ads affect the way we think. Do you remember? I mean, I always like to give this example because it's a very good one. When Edouard Bernays made it was for what is the company, I don't remember right now, the cigarettes company. And what was Lucky Strikes. It was the brand, the Lucky Strike cigarettes. And then they came up with the idea they wanted, okay? They knew there was half of the population, women. There were potential smokers, consumers, customers, all right? And they came up with the idea of selling cigarettes to women by calling cigarettes, the campaign was called Torches of Freedom. You see the point? And you see, yes, it does work. Because it's not just a campaign. Because it's a system. Then you start to see women smoking in actors playing roles in movies. Then you start to see, there is a combination, there is a strategy. It's not, it is the creation of an environment that we are going, in this case was more directed to women, that women do not need to think about it consciously, because the messages, the information is going to be processed at the subconscious level and assimilated, and many will be and it doesn't work with everyone, for sure, for several reasons, but many will start smoking without even knowing why they are doing it, just because it makes them feel good, feel as if they have acquired more autonomy or more independence, or become more socially equal in gender terms, just by the fact of smoking, but by the fact that destroying their health and acquiring an addiction, somehow they are freer. This is why I keep telling people that we live in such a deceptful, we live in a web of deceit. And the thing is, the web, this web of deceit is pervasive, is everywhere. It's in the sciences, it's in academia, it's in literature, it's in culture, it's everywhere, it's ubiquitous, it's omnipresent. And we buy into ideas and lines of reasoning that most of the time, intentionally or not, end up justifying this existing totalitarian system disguised as cultural pluralism and consumer liberty that we and alienation that we that we believe it's true freedom, because as if by commodifying everything and becoming addicted to convenience makes us more free or freer, as if conscious reasoning and the development of conscious reasoning and critical analysis is not a work on our own selves. It's not. It just needs to be. It's not something that we can delegate in others. We cannot. But the culture we have is a culture that exactly that's one of the biggest points. It makes us look for answers everywhere instead of incentivizing a deeper and holistic, comprehensive analysis, self-analysis process. And this is a process. This is not something that you do in weekends or when you are in vacation that you cut. No, this is why they don't want you. They don't want us to think, because we need to think about thinking. What is thinking? Why do I think the way? I mean, why? I mean, this is something that we as humans need to understand. If for us, because if we do not go to the roots, to the comprehension of the roots, of the sociocultural roots of the human condition, we will be delusional and will be victims of deception, and will not be able to overcome this ugly phase, this imperialist civilizational paradigm that is destroying our humanity. It's not about writing another book or reading another book. It's not about listening to I mean I listen to many people, and I but that doesn't substitute your own, that you cultivate yourself, self-analysis. And self-analysis includes that the observation of your surroundings, of your environment, of how people behave, of everything that we need to build our own, the process by which we become more free, that our reasoning processes are more free. are more authentic, genuine. They are not because we are not under the yes, we have the influences, but we studied them. We think about those things. We don't follow people. We don't care about leaders. That, by the way, we if we want to change in the world, for example, we are in a situation right now in the world that all leaders can be killed. So only a wider movement cannot be killed. If any movement of organization depends on a leader or a bunch of leaders, and we don't feel the responsibility that we all have are that we need to have this. It's not because we should not have a leader or people responsible for certain roles and this. That's not the case. The case is, if you want to be successful in any form of radical change of societal and civilizational paradigm, we need to think beyond the paradigm of following leaders and authorities and saviors and heroes and gurus. This is for me, participatory politics and participatory economics. It's not a pipe dream. That was how it was before. That was absolutely normal as part of small human communities. And we need to apply it in these complex societies. Because if we delegate, if you keep this mentality of delegating everything, ideas, I mean, everything is delegated. We, as the masses, which the majority of the citizens do delegate almost everything, in the political agency, social agency, cultural agency. We are just consumers. We glorify others. We idolize others. We believe they are the ones that we need to follow them in order to understand ourselves. No. This is wrong. Totally wrong. This is against our social nature. We are not bees. We are not ants. Okay? And we should not buy into the evolutionary psychology and the evolutionary biology and many other fields. They try to justify. I mean, I'm not even saying that many people that work in these fields, they do it intentionally. But the influence on them, they are exactly like you and me. They are influenced by the same system, by the same background. And they come up with these models. Many of them, they do not observe the reality. They came up. They just frame the reality in certain ways, and they can come up with explanations that are more like justifications for the existing system. And a little distortion here. a little light there, a little omission, and there you have a fake story, a distorted version, in this case, of our own of the picture we have of our own substance, of our own nature. And so that's one of my points, is that what we really need is to train our the to train the critical analysis, to train it intentionally, consciously. Then critical thinking, as I keep saying, we do have these skills are natural, they are innate. But if you don't train them, you are going the web of deceit takes over our lives, takes over our subconscious mind, and we are controlled from inside, because we believe these thoughts, these premises, these certainties, these axioms, are, we take them as ours because they are part of us, actually. But they didn't were part of us originally. They were, they went in, they just took roots there. And the only way, as I keep saying as well, to overcome, not to override, not to erase the old narratives, dominant narratives, but through a conscious transformative process, you build a new structure, new structural narratives, where your reasoning processes start to that your reasoning process start to use as the food for thought. So when people talk about developing consciousness, and there's a spiritual this and that, first do this homework if you don't want to be a victim of so many people. That some are not, I would not say that all are trying to take advantage of people's weaknesses and problems and psychological stress and emotional, all the things that we know that exist in our societies. Not all are really prey on these things, but the problem is that I see spiritual conscious development and spiritual development. Conscious development or conscious awareness is the process by which we intentionally train our critical analysis and discernment by asking why, by looking for facts, by relating things, by doing our own observation. And that is, and that is a process that is never, it's a long life process and project. But that's how we avoid being used and abused and manipulated. not by following people, no matter uh, how reputed they are. I mean, as I keep saying, that people are there are many people that we should respect and admire, never idolize, never glorify, respect and admire, because we all are bits and pieces of other people's uh, uh, um, experience and knowledge. But that doesn't mean. But if we do not do this intentional, conscious, transformative process, we with while thinking that that we are free thinkers and we practice free choice and free decision all the time, we don't understand that this is just a delusion. What we are doing is reproducing and regurgitating ideas and paradigms and patterns and behaviors and habits that have been tailored by others to control us most of the time, to keep us in a short leash, and to use us as useful idiots and cannon fodder and expendable peons. And by spirituality, if you look for spirituality in religious books and in whatever philosophy and all these things, please, it's not, I'm not here, I don't want, I respect religious people, but I think the disconnect, that if we do not understand also that spiritual development without a deep connection with nature, which I mean that we understand culture, culture as part of the web of nature, not in opposition, not versus nature, not at war with nature, not superior to nature, but culture in the web of nature, as life, as humanity is part of the web of life, not superior to it. And the more you understand, the deeper, the more this relation, when you understand and you start to live it in everyday life, to be aware, to feel it, you are in the right track for a true spiritual life, by feeling the connection with life, with nature, not by trying to give meaning and purpose to your life through doctrines and religions that that tell us that nature is no, the planet Earth is just for us to rule and control and everything, and animals don't. They are inferior. I mean, all the things that are in many religions, and I believe that in my own belief that we do not need them at all. We don't need religion, but I'm not, and I want to emphasize it, I'm not against. I know people, they are really good people, religious people. But I think that should not be a substitute for our for the deepening, for the conscious deepening of our understanding of understanding of the connection that we have with the web of life and culture as part of the web of nature. So this is for me very important points. Of course, I have. I mean, this is this is these my monologues are spontaneous, so I the way they evolve is I cannot even control it. It's just what it is. Therefore, I always need to come back and to see to talk about things that I have to aspects and the parts that I've missed here, not intentionally. I'm not here. I'm I'm not I'm not trying to I mean, that's the people. I would like, the only thing I really would like would be that people who think more by themselves, not just thinking they do it, but try really discovering the pathways, the intellectual, the cognitive, the psychocognitive affective pathways to really start doing it, instead of being followers with the delusion that their opinions are authentic, which without doing the the homework, without working on ourselves. That's the main point. That's that spiritual revolution, and that needs to go through which is a revolution in consciousness. It's a cultural revolution. It's a socio-cultural revolution that we need to go through, and we need to do it individually, also as a group. It needs to be a culture, but before it is a culture in our own societies, it needs to be an individual process by which we individually build this awareness as part of conscious transformative process to reconnect with the web of life and to understand culture as part of the web of nature, not against, not versus nature. Okay, this is going to be all for today. Thank you for listening. I will be back soon.